When giants fall silent, the year was 2387, and Earth had enjoyed 40 years of perfect peace. No alien conflicts, no interstellar wars, just the quiet hum of a thriving civilization stretching across the solar system. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the observation deck of Luna Station, watching cargo ships drift lazily between Earth and Mars. The sight always calmed her, but today something felt different. The emergency klaxon shattered the peaceful morning. Chen rushed to the command center, her boots echoing through the metallic corridors. Lieutenant Marcus Webb met her at the entrance, his face pale with worry. "Admiral, we have a problem," Webb said, his voice tight. Long-range sensors picked up something at the edge of the system. Chen stepped into the command center, where dozens of officers worked frantically at their stations. The massive holographic display showed the solar system in perfect detail, but there was something new. At the very edge, near Pluto's orbit, red dots appeared one by one. "How many?" Chen asked. 800 and counting, Webb replied. "They're massive, Admiral. Each one is at least 3 kilometers long." Chen felt her blood turn cold. 800 ships was not an exploration fleet or a diplomatic mission. This was an invasion force larger than anything Earth had ever faced. She studied the tactical display, noting how the ships moved in perfect formation like a single organism. "Ship design?" she asked. "Unknown, but they match historical descriptions of draconian vessels," reported Lieutenant Sarah Kim from the communication station. "Long, angular, dark gray hulls. No response to our hail attempts, the Draconians." Chen had studied them in the Academy, a warrior race from the Andromeda sector, known for their brutal efficiency and hive mind tactics. They had conquered 17 star systems before humanity had even discovered faster-than-light travel. Why were they here now? "Time to Earth intercept?" Chen asked. "At current speed, approximately 18 hours, Webb answered. Chen activated the fleet-wide communication system. Her voice echoed through every Earth defense ship in the system. "All units, this is Admiral Chen. We are facing the largest threat in human history. 800 draconian warships are approaching Earth. All personnel report to battle stations, immediately." Within minutes, every human ship in the solar system began moving toward Earth. 300 defense vessels, 50 orbital platforms, and 12 massive battle stations. It was impressive, but Chen knew it would not be enough against 800 draconian ships. As the hours passed, the alien fleet moved closer. Chen studied their formation, looking for weaknesses, but found none. The draconians moved like a perfect machine, each ship positioned exactly where it needed to be. Their technology was clearly superior, their hulls reflecting energy in ways that suggested advanced shielding. "Admiral," Kim called out, "something's happening." Chen looked at the display. The draconian fleet had stopped moving. 800 massive ships floating silently in space just beyond Mars' orbit. They were close enough to attack, but they did nothing. "Are they waiting for something?" Webb asked. "Maybe," Chen replied. "Or maybe they're scanning us." For 3 hours, nothing happened. The draconian fleet remained motionless while Earth's forces prepared for battle. Chen ordered continuous scans of the alien ships, but their technology remained mysterious. No energy weapons charging, no fighter craft launching, no communication attempts. Then, without warning, they vanished. "What?" Chen stared at the display in disbelief. "Where did they go?" "I don't know, Admiral," Kim replied, her fingers flying over her console. "They were there 1 second, gone the next. No warp signatures, no energy discharge, nothing." Chen ordered immediate scans of the area where the fleet had been. The sensors found nothing. No debris, no energy trails, no trace that 800 massive warships had ever existed. It was as if they had been erased from reality. "This doesn't make sense," Webb muttered. "Ships don't just disappear." "Run full diagnostics on all sensors," Chen ordered. "Maybe there's a malfunction." But the diagnostics came back clean. The sensors were working perfectly. 800 draconian ships had simply vanished without explanation. 3 days later, Chen received a priority message from Earth Command. She was ordered to report to Geneva immediately for a classified briefing. The transport ship felt unusually quiet during the journey, and Chen found herself staring out the window at Earth's peaceful blue surface, wondering what secrets it might be hiding. General Patricia Hawk met her at Earth Command headquarters. Hawk was a stern woman in her 60s, with gray hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. She led Chen through several security checkpoints before arriving at a conference room deep underground. "Admiral," Hawk began, "what I'm about to show you is classified at the highest level. Very few people know this information exists." She activated a holographic projector. Ancient documents appeared in the air, written in a strange script that looked almost human but somehow different. These records date back to 2187, exactly 200 years ago, Hawk explained. They describe a conflict that officially never happened. Chen studied the documents. "What kind of conflict?" "A war between Earth and the Draconian Empire," Hawk replied. "According to these files, a Draconian fleet of 1,000 ships attacked Earth. The war lasted exactly 4 hours. 4 hours? Chen asked. "That's impossible. No war ends that quickly." "This one did, because we used something that changed everything." Hawk activated another display. Project Mindbridge. The new documents showed technical diagrams of a device that looked like a massive brain scanner. The text described experiments in psychic warfare, methods of attacking enemy minds directly rather than their ships. "We developed technology that could enter alien consciousness," Hawk continued. "The Draconians have a hive mind, all connected through quantum entanglement. When we attacked one mind, we attacked them all." Chen felt sick. "You used psychic torture as a weapon?" "We used whatever was necessary to survive," Hawk replied firmly. "The entire Draconian fleet went insane. Some ships turned on each other, others simply shut down. Within hours, the threat was eliminated. And then we covered it up. Every record was classified, every witness sworn to secrecy. As far as history knows, first contact with the Draconians happened 50 years later, and it was peaceful." Chen stared at the documents. "Why are you telling me this now?" Hawk's expression grew darker. "Because 3 days ago, our deep space monitors detected something disturbing. The same quantum signatures that we used in Project Mindbridge are appearing throughout the solar system." A chill ran down Chen's spine. "You think the vanished fleet is connected to this?" "I think," Hawk said slowly, "that the Draconians never forgot what we did to them, and I think they've been planning their revenge for 200 years. That night, Chen couldn't sleep. She walked through her quarters, thinking about the implications of what she had learned. If the Draconians remembered the psychic attack, if they had found a way to counter it, then Earth was in terrible danger. Her personal communicator buzzed. It was Webb calling from Luna Station. "Admiral, you need to see this," he said, his voice tense. "What is it?" "We found something in the area where the Draconian fleet disappeared. It's not debris, it's not energy. It's something else entirely." Chen felt her heart rate increase. "What kind of something else?" "It looks like a message, Admiral. But it's not written in any language we know, and it's not transmitted on any frequency we can detect. It somehow burned directly into space itself." Chen grabbed her jacket. "I'm coming back up." "There's more." "Admiral," Webb continued, "the message is changing. Every few hours new symbols appear. It's like someone is writing it in real time." As Chen prepared to return to Luna Station, she couldn't shake the feeling that Earth was about to face something far worse than a simple invasion. The Draconians had vanished, but they had left something behind. Something that suggested this was not over. The transport ship lifted off from Earth, carrying Chen back toward Luna Station and whatever answers awaited her there. Below, Earth's surface looked peaceful and serene, but Chen now knew that appearances could be deceiving. Humanity had used its darkest weapon against the Draconians 200 years ago, and now it seemed the bill was finally coming due. As the ship entered orbit, Chen looked out at the stars and wondered what other secrets were hidden in the depths of space. The Draconian fleet had disappeared, but something told her this was not an ending. It was a beginning. What humanity forgot, Admiral? Sarah Chen arrived at Luna Station to find the research team working frantically around the clock. The mysterious message burned into space had grown longer, its alien symbols pulsing with an eerie light that seemed to exist between dimensions. Dr. Elena Vasquez, the station's lead xenolinguist, met Chen at the airlock. Dark circles under her eyes showed she hadn't slept in days. "Admiral, we've made a breakthrough," Vasquez said, leading Chen to the analysis chamber. "The message isn't draconian, it's much older." The holographic display showed the space-burned symbols rotating slowly. They seemed to shift and change as Chen watched, like living text that refused to stay still. "What language is it?" Chen asked. "We think it's Proto-Draconian," Vasquez replied. "A language that died out thousands of years ago. But that's not the strangest part." She activated another display. "We ran quantum analysis on the writing method. Admiral, these symbols aren't just burned into space. They're burned into time itself, past, present, and future. This message has always existed, we just couldn't see it before." Chen felt a chill run through her body. "What does it say?" "The translation is rough, but it seems to be a warning. Something about the sleeper beneath and the hunger that devours stars. And there's a reference to Earth specifically." Before Chen could respond, Lieutenant Webb rushed into the chamber. "Admiral, we have a situation. Deep Earth sensors are detecting massive energy readings from Antarctica." "Antarctica?" Chen asked. "What kind of energy?" "The same quantum signatures from Project Mindbridge," Webb replied. "But they're 1,000 times stronger than anything we've ever recorded." Chen made a decision that would change everything. "Prepare a team. We're going to Antarctica." The flight to the Antarctic Research Station took 6 hours. Chen brought Dr. Vasquez and a team of scientists, along with a full military escort. As they flew over the endless white landscape, Chen couldn't shake the feeling that they were heading towards something that should have remained buried. The research station was built over what scientists had always believed was a natural cave system. But as Chen and her team descended into the depths, she realized this was no cave. The walls were too smooth, too perfectly curved. This was artificial, something built by intelligence far older than humanity. 3 kilometers below the surface, they found it. The chamber was enormous, larger than any cathedral. In the center floated a crystalline structure that defied physics, suspended in midair without any visible support. It pulsed with the same energy signatures they had detected from space. "What is it?" Chen whispered. Dr. Marcus Thompson, the team's archaeologist, ran his scanners over the structure. "Admiral, according to these readings, this artifact is over 50,000 years old. It predates human civilization by tens of thousands of years." "But how did we never find it before?" Chen asked. "Because," Thompson replied, "it's been dormant. Something woke it up 3 days ago." Chen realized with growing horror that the artifact had awakened at exactly the same time the Draconian fleet had vanished. The connection was too precise to be coincidence. Dr. Vasquez approached the crystal structure with her translation equipment. "Admiral, there are symbols on the surface, the same Proto-Draconian script we found in space." She worked quickly, her devices scanning and analyzing the ancient text. After an hour, she looked up with fear in her eyes. "Admiral, this is not just an artifact. It's a prison. And according to these symbols, something is trying to get out." As if responding to her words, the crystal structure pulsed brighter. The entire chamber filled with a sound that was not quite music and not quite screaming. Chen felt it in her bones, a resonance that seemed to speak directly to her mind. "Everyone out," she ordered. "Now." But it was too late. The crystal cracked open like an egg. What emerged was not physical. It was pure consciousness, ancient and hungry. Chen felt it touch her mind, showing her visions of civilizations across the galaxy. She saw worlds stripped bare, their populations consumed not for food but for their thoughts, their memories, their very essence. The entity spoke without words, its voice echoing in the minds of everyone present. Finally, the children remember their purpose. Chen struggled to maintain control of her own thoughts. "What are you?" "I am what feeds on intelligence. I am what your species disturbed when you developed your mind weapons. I am what the Draconians fled from across the galaxy. The truth hit Chen like a physical blow. The Draconian fleet hadn't come to conquer Earth. They had come seeking help. They were refugees fleeing from this ancient predator that consumed civilizations. The Draconians, they were running from you? For centuries. Their hive mind made them strong, but it also made them visible to me. I have been hunting them across space and time. When they came here, I followed. Chen realized that Project Mindbridge had been a terrible mistake. By developing psychic weapons, humanity had attracted the attention of something far worse than any alien invasion. What happened to their fleet? I consumed them. 800 ships, millions of minds, all their knowledge and fear. But they served a purpose. They led me to something far more interesting. The entity's attention focused on Chen, and she felt her mind being probed, examined like a specimen under a microscope. Humans. Such a young species. Yet you developed mind weapons so quickly. Your potential is significant. Dr. Vasquez managed to speak despite the entity's mental pressure. Admiral, the Draconians left more than just a message. They left instructions. She activated her portable scanner, showing symbols that had appeared on the crystal surface. They're telling us how to fight this thing. The entity laughed, a sound like stars dying. Fight me? Child, I have consumed entire galaxies. Your small world means nothing. But Chen was studying the Draconian instructions, and an idea began to form. The symbols showed that the entity fed on organized minds, on civilizations that thought in predictable patterns. But humanity was different. Humans were chaotic, unpredictable, each mind unique. You're afraid, Chen realized. That's why you stayed imprisoned for 50,000 years. You can't easily consume human consciousness because we're too scattered, too individual. The entity's presence pressed harder against her mind. Irrelevant. I will adapt. I will consume your world as I have consumed thousands of others. But Chen was already moving. She activated her communicator, broadcasting to every human settlement in the solar system. This is Admiral Chen. Initiate protocol Mindbridge full spectrum, every frequency, every human mind linked now. Admiral, that's insane, Webb protested. The psychic feedback could kill millions. And if we don't try, this thing will consume us all. Across the solar system, humanity responded. Not as a hive mind like the Draconians, but as billions of individual consciousnesses choosing to stand together. The psychic network that activated was unlike anything the entity had ever encountered. Instead of one organized mind to consume, it faced billions of unique perspectives, each one different, each one contributing something unexpected to the whole. The sheer diversity of human thought created a pattern too complex for the entity to process. Impossible, it whispered as its form began to waver. Dr. Vasquez, still connected to the network, made a crucial discovery. Admiral, the Draconians didn't just leave instructions. They left part of themselves. Their consciousness is still here, still fighting. Chen opened her mind to the network and felt them. Millions of Draconian minds, thought lost, still struggling against the entity that had consumed their ships. They had sacrificed themselves to give humanity this chance. Join us, Chen called out across space and time. Help us send this thing back where it came from. The combined force of human and Draconian consciousness focused on the ancient entity, not to destroy it, for it was too powerful to destroy, but to force it back into its prison. The crystal structure began to reform around the entity's essence. This is not over, it raged as the prison sealed shut. I will return. I will consume everything you are. Maybe, Chen replied, but not today. The chamber fell silent. The crystal structure had reformed, but now it pulsed with a different energy. The combined consciousness of humans and Draconians stood guard, ensuring the entity remained imprisoned. Dr. Vasquez checked her instruments. Admiral, the psychic network is stabilizing. Humanity and the surviving Draconian minds are working together to maintain the prison. Chen looked around at her team, all of whom had been forever changed by the experience. What about the rest of the Draconian people? According to the network, there are survivors scattered across the galaxy. With the entity imprisoned, they can begin to return home. Some want to establish peaceful contact with Earth. As they prepared to leave the chamber, Chen took one last look at the crystal prison. Inside, something ancient and hungry waited for another chance to escape. But now it faced not just humanity, but the combined will of two species who had learned to work together against a common threat. The journey back to the surface felt like emerging from a nightmare into daylight. But Chen knew this was not an ending. It was a beginning. Humanity had made first contact not through conquest or diplomacy, but through shared sacrifice against a cosmic horror. Earth's darkest secret had become its greatest strength. The Forgotten, war with the Draconians had led to an alliance that might save both species. And somewhere in the depths of space, other civilizations would learn that they were no longer alone in the fight against the forces that sought to consume intelligence itself. As Chen's ship lifted off from Antarctica, she looked down at the white landscape that hid such ancient secrets. The crystal prison pulsed far below, guarded by the combined consciousness of two species who had learned that survival sometimes required the courage to trust former enemies. The stars ahead looked different now, filled with possibility rather than threat. Humanity had faced its darkest hour and emerged not conquered, but allied with those they had once wronged. It was, Chen thought, perhaps the most human story of all.